May I ask you to sit, please? Peace and blessings be upon all of you. Welcome to 2022 Baccalaureate ceremony. As we begin these exercises, I wish to acknowledge that the land on which we live, learn, celebrate today are the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Oneida Indian nation. We honor and respect the diverse and beautiful peoples still connected to this land. Just for your attention, there's a small change in the program. Instead of Usman Ahmed, Muhammad Abbas is going to read from the Holy Quran. For those with whom I have not met yet, my name is Ahmed Çelik. I am Muslim chaplain, Imam here at Colgate University. This is the end of my first year here. I am honored to welcome you today and at the same time to say goodbye to our students, class of 2022. When I had to leave my family first time to study at high school in a different city, my mom, like many other moms, all moms actually, always kept doing the same prayer for me, saying the same prayers. May God bless you with good friends. May God bless you meeting with good people. Always. It was over 20 years ago, and I feel today that my mom's prayers got answered, because in my entire life, I have been meeting good people. I have been with good people. And today, I am here at Colgate University. Even though it has been less than a year I have been working here, I can tell you that I work with good friends, good students, good people. I can tell you that Colgate is different. I have been many places, but Colgate is different. You are graduating, but I am quite sure that you always feel that you have been a member and alumni of Colgate family. It makes you feel that you join a family, you become a member of family. It makes you feel you are special. May God bless you all with good friends and good people. I believe Colgate University is one of the best places where you learn how to be a good person, make good friends, meet good people. I wish you all the best success in your studies and in your works in the rest of your life. I would like to conclude with the following prayer for all of you. O God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, help us in this life and guide us in the right path. Help us to be good people. Bless us to be friends of good people and work with good people. Help us to be people of love, mercy, trust, and justice. Amen. Thank you.
कर्माण्य एवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मा फल हेतुर्भुर मा ते संगोस्त्वा कर्मणि योगास्था कुरु कर्मणि संगम त्याक्त्वा धनंजय सिद्ध्य असिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वार योगा उच्यते दुरेण ह्यावरं कर्मा बुद्धि योगद धनंजय बुद्धौ शरणम अन्विच्छा कृपाना फल हेतवा बुद्धि युक्तो जहातिहा उभे सुकृता दुष्कृते तस्माद् योगया युज्यास्वा योगा कर्मासु कौशलम.
You have the right to work, but never to the fruit of work. You should never engage in action for the sake of reward, nor should you long for inaction. Perform work in this world with your mind fixed on duty and all thoughts about the fruits of your action abandoned. Such equanimity of mind is the essence of yoga, O conqueror of wealth. Any action driven by the desire to enjoy its benefits is inferior to intelligence that adheres to a discipline. O winner of wealth, seek refuge in wisdom and do not be miserly, like those who concentrate on the results of their actions. Devote yourself to yoga, the essence of work. Those who do this cast off both good and bad karma in the world, unlike those attached to the fruit of their actions. Yoga is skill in action.
Hodu ladonai ki tov ki le'olam chasto. Yomerna Yisrael ki le'olam chasto. Yomerna Beit Aharon ki le'olam chasto. Yomerna Yirei Adonai ki le'olam chasto. Dacho dachitini lifnol vadonai azrani. Ozi vezimrat ya vayihili lishua. Kol rina vayishua belahet tzadikim yamin Adonai asachayil. Odecha ki anitani vatehili lishua. Evan Masu Habonim Haita Rosh Pina. Me'et Adonai Haita Zot Hini Flat Be'enenenu. Zehayom Asa Adonai Nagila V'nismechabo.
Praise the Eternal, for God is good. God's steadfast love is everlasting. Let Israel declare, God's steadfast love is everlasting. Let the house of Aaron declare, God's steadfast love is everlasting. Let those who revere the Eternal declare, God's steadfast love is everlasting. You pressed me hard, I nearly fell, but the Eternal One helped me. The Eternal is my strength and might. God has become my deliverance. The tents of the righteous resound with joyous shouts of deliverance. The right hand of the Eternal One is triumphant. I praise you, for you have answered me and become my deliverance. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is the Eternal One's doing. It is marvelous in our sight. This is the day the Eternal One has made. Let us rejoice and be glad on it.
Good afternoon. Dear graduating class of 2022, families, alumni, colleagues, administrators, I'm so delighted to be with you today to celebrate your great accomplishment. You have earned it. This is a wonderful day for you, your family, and for the Colgate community. You deserve a deep respect and a deep respect for not giving up during these past 2 difficult years. You should be proud of yourself for staying focused on your goals and your values to make it happen. Now, I would like to share some friendly advice with you. Number 1, decide yourself what is right and what is wrong. No one should let you down. When I was undergraduate, a biology professor once told me, I would not succeed in biology, suggesting that I drop out of the subject. He said, biology may not be for me. Being a college student and hearing this kind of negativity made me very sad, and at that point, I started thinking that science was not for me. But it also gave me a strength, and so I decided to work harder. Because who is this man to tell me what I can and cannot do? And look where it got me. So the takeaway here is, do not allow others to define you who you are and what's capable of you. Negative talk should not challenge you. Negative talk should not hold you back. Believe in yourself. No matter how challenging the situation might be, never give up on something you believe. If I had given up, then I would not be standing here and speaking today with you. Number 2, remember, life is about discovering your passion. Believing in yourself is easier when you are pursuing something you are passionate about. Ask yourself, what are you excited about? What is your vision in life? You cannot give up your passion even if you're facing challenging journey. There will be a lot of ups and downs. Perseverance is an essential quality of success in life. Nothing worth doing happens overnight. Love what you do. If you don't find your passion yet, keep looking for it. Do not settle until you find what you like to do in your life. Number 3, don't let challenges deter you. Those of you who are not graduating with a GPA you wanted, you are not alone. I was one of you. It is okay. Remember, it is not where you start life that counts most, but where your hard work takes you. I would like to share my own life challenges when I was undergraduate. To me, by far, my undergraduate days were the hardest of my academic life. It was a challenging time for many reasons: language barriers, financial burdens, limited educational background, to mention a few. And although my experience is unique to me, you will all face your own social, economical, and academic challenges. I did not grow up thinking I would become a professor at Colgate University. It happened because I was hardworking and determined. You must be as well. To accomplish this goal, you need to give everything you have. Number 4, never stop learning. Society needs you. We need more healthcare workers, scientists, lawyers, teachers, policymakers, politicians, artists, journalists, musicians, to mention few. Your knowledge will help to make a difference in your community and society in general. It is only by education we can make a difference. Even if you are not planning to continue on your postgraduate studies, your education does not stop today. Stay curious and keep exploring new things. 5, do not limit yourself. Remember to constantly push the bar higher. Do not settle for average. Those of you who have figured out your next step, congratulations. For those of you who have no idea where the next step is, or if you applied for school or jobs and you haven't heard from them, don't worry. You are not alone. About 24 years ago, I was in your shoes. I can tell you my own experience that I was not a student with high GPA, especially in my STEM courses, particularly not in biology. However, I had the minimum GPA to apply to grad school. So in my senior year, I applied to grad school for PhD programs, and none of them accepted me. I took a gap year and worked in grocery store about 60 hours per week and reapply. This time, in addition to PhD programs, I also applied to master programs. Again, no PhD program accepted me. But all the master programs I applied, I accepted me, and then I started my studies. But this did not stop me from pursuing my PhD. Eventually, if I was able to do it, I have no doubt that you can do it as well. You should not limit yourself from what you are capable of. You are full of potential. However, you must have daily, weekly, monthly, yearly goals. For example, ask yourself when you will be taking the qualified exam to apply for postgraduate school. To achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. Number 6, don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Networking is important. Make sure to connect, form and maintain good relationships with friends, coworkers, and colleagues. Do not try to solve every possible obstacles in your life by yourself. Reconnect with mentors you have at Colgate. Establish new mentors wherever you go. You should go outside your comfort zone and make connection with people who have life experience different from you concerning race, religion, even country of origin. By doing this, you will learn how to walk in someone else's shoes. Gain new outlook on your life. We need each other as a community. Learn from each other, from one another. We all share different views, but we have a lot in common that makes us love and respect each other. 7, keep a positive attitude and practice self-confidence. We all go through ups and downs in our lives, but when things get rough, remember that what does not kill you makes you stronger. When life knocks you down, restructure your thoughts and get up again. Sometimes the difference between a good situation and a bad situation is your attitude. So remember to stay positive. If you exercise this in your life, your next step is always better than the previous ones. In spite of your failures and discouragement, you must keep going. When you start believing in yourself, no one can stop you from accomplishing what you want to do in life. Always have a purpose. Wear smile face because every day is a new beginning full of hope. Number 8, you must stand for others who are less fortunate than you. 31 years ago, after graduation from high school, political instabilities and ethnic cleansing in Ethiopia forced me to flee to Kenya. I was only 17. I was in the Kenya refugee camp for 15 months. The same ethnic cleansing and not genocide is happening in the North Ethiopia, my hometown, Tigray. Again, and no one is talking about it. People are being denied basic human necessities such as food, clean water, medicine. I don't have able to talk with my relatives, including my parents, for the past 16 months because the region is locked down and there is no means of communication. I'm not sure if they are eating or taking their medicine or alive. This human-inflicted suffering is not only happening in Tigray, Ethiopia, but it's happening in Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria, and now in Ukraine. People are dying right now because of this violent nature of mankind. Students just like you in these countries are not graduating because their school has been destroyed by war. You must speak up for those without voice. You have achieved your own success by completing your undergraduate studies. With this privilege comes the responsibility to reach your hand down the ladder to help others. Number 9, pay it forward. You must help others acknowledge your privilege and use it to help those who are less privileged than you. Good education, health, and life quality should not be taken for granted. Do not waste your success and the tools that led you to it. Instead, utilize it to aid others. There are more than 7 billion people on our planet, many of whom do not have food on their table, suffering from conflict, abuse, and sickness. Compare yourself with the rest of the world. It will change your perspective and teach you how to serve others. Success means nothing if you don't do anything with it. Giving your time and energy to another human being is a very powerful and awesome thing to do. Number 10, try to enjoy your journey. My journey from being a refugee camp for more than a year at 17 years old, working nearly full-time while taking full-time courses during my undergraduate, having language barrier, financial burden, and many years of post-grad schooling taught me strength, perseverance, patience, confidence in myself. Through all my hardship, I always found a way to make this the best of my situation, even have fun. No matter how bumpy the road gets, make sure to enjoy the ride. In closing, I want to share this quote: people are people through other people. I want you to thank the people who played some role in your being here today to celebrate your graduation. The list could be endless. Your family, including your parents, who put where you are today, grandparents, uncle, aunts, cousins, friends, the people who fed you here on campus, the people who make this campus beautiful and clean and nice, your classrooms and your study rooms. People from administrative deans, professors, campus safety officers, staff members, including at the counseling center, career services, librarian, your coaches, mentors, and many others. Make sure to take time to say thank you to them when you get a chance. My message today may not be new, but I hope you took something from it to carry with you. So, class of 2022, I wish you the joy of discovery. Keep using your ability to bring the best of yourself in society. Congratulations again, my friends. Enjoy your celebration with your family and friends. Good luck in your journey, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
Be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Put away from you all bitterness and wrath and anger and wrangling and slander, together with all malice, and be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ has forgiven you.
신화를 만들어낸 고대인들도 잘 알고 있었듯이 사람은 대지의 자녀인 동시에 하늘의 자녀이기도 하다. 지구에서 살아오는 동안 인류는 못된 진화적 습성을 많이 길러왔다. 그러나 우리는 남을 측은히 여길 줄 아는 좋은 정선도 갖고 있다. 우리는 자식을 사랑할 뿐만 아니라 자식의 자식도 아낀다. 역사에서 무언가를 배우려 노력하고 지적인 것을 향한 불같은 열정을 가지고 있다. 인류는 우주 한 구석에 박힌 미물이었으나 이제 스스로를 인식할 줄 아는 존재로 이만큼 성장했다. 별에서 만들어낸 물질이 별에 대해 숙고할 줄 알게 됐다. 우리의 생존은 우리 자신만이 이룩한 업적이 아니다. 오늘을 사는 우리는 인류를 여기에 있게 한 코스모스에게 감사해야 할 것이다. As the ancient mythmakers knew, we are the children equally of the sky and the earth. In our tenure on this planet, we have accumulated dangerous evolutionary baggage, but we have also acquired compassion for others, love for our children and our children's children, a desire to learn from history, and a great soaring passionate intelligence. For we are the local embodiment of a cosmos grown to self-awareness, star stuff, pondering the stars. Our obligation to survive is owed not just to ourselves, but also to that cosmos, ancient and vast, from which we spring.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم من الله يتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم صدق الله العظيم. I seek protection from God against the devil in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. O mankind, indeed, we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous of you. Indeed, God is all-knowing and all-aware. Read in the name of your Lord, who created human out of a clot. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught human that which he knew not.
The Office of the Chaplains is so thankful to President Casey and senior administration for being so supportive of religious life. And while we have 4 chaplains and a chaplain intern and a wonderful office manager, we recognize that we have not had an opportunity to get to know all of the graduates. We haven't even met all of you. However, if in front of your grandmother this afternoon you want us to act like we know you, we can do that. I have the privilege of offering a brief prayer for the class. We recognize, Lord, that from move-in weekend to this graduation weekend, the Colgate class of 2022 has had quite the journey. I am especially mindful this afternoon of all that they have experienced in this chapel. We have not lost sight that this room they began their academic journey at the convocation 4 years ago. In this chapel, they have attended classes and heard from world-famous scholars, leaders, and practitioners. In this chapel, they have danced and sung and worshiped. And now, as they gather one last time in this chapel, on the eve of concluding their journey as students at Colgate University, I pray your richest blessing upon them. Thank you that Colgate staff and faculty have had the blessing of having these students in our lives, even if it was just for a short time, amid some challenging days and amid some glorious days. Thank you for your grace that has brought us through to these days of celebration. And for the Colgate class of 2022, I pray that the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
左手握大地，右手握着天，掌纹裂出了释放的闪电，把时光匆匆兑换成了年，3000世如所不见。左手画着雨，右手掌连天，我是在云上，我是在林间，愿随意用以你为尘的模样，在所有城市浮现。
Alegrem-se sempre no Senhor. Novamente direi, alegrem-se. Seja a amabilidade de vocês conhecida por todos. Perto está o Senhor. Não andem ansiosos por coisa alguma, mas em tudo pela oração e súplicas, e com ação de graças apresentem seus pedidos a Deus. E a paz de Deus, que excede todo o entendimento, guardará o coração e a mente de vocês em Cristo Jesus. Finalmente, irmãos, tudo o que for verdadeiro, tudo o que for nobre, tudo o que for correto, tudo o que for puro, tudo o que for amável, tudo o que for de boa fama, se houver algo de excelente ou digno de louvor, pensem nessas coisas. Ponham em prática tudo o que vocês aprenderam, receberam, ouviram e viram em mim, e o Deus da paz estará com vocês.
Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Do not worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you.
O pistos philos in a kata phio iero, ke opios ton vrike thisavro. Antalagma ya ton pisto to philo, den iparchi, ke axia tu in a anactimiti. O pistos philos in a elixirio zois, ke tha ton vrunafti pus sevonten ton kyrio. Opios ton kyrio sevete, kata phthini sosta, ke ti filiatu. Ya ti opos in aftos, et si tha ine ke o philos tu.
Верните приятели се силна закрила. Оној кој нашол таков, нашол богатство. Верните пријатели се бесценети. Ниједна вредност не се мери со нивната. Верните пријатели се спасителен лек. И тие кои се бојат од Господа, ќе ги најдат. Тие кои се бојат од Господа, го насочуваат своето пријателство на правиот пат. Бидејќи какви се тие, такви се и нивните соседи. Faithful friends are a sturdy shelter. Whoever finds one has found a treasure. Faithful friends are beyond price. No amount can balance their worth.
Faithful friends are life-saving medicine, and those who fear the Lord will find them. Those who fear the Lord direct their friendship aright, for as they are, so are their neighbors also.
I appreciate y'all. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hilary Almanza, and I am truly honored to be addressing you today alongside my friend, the most impressive and dedicated Alex Tran. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to recognize those who lost their lives recently in the tragedy of violent supremacist racism in Buffalo, New York, and New York City. I'd like to honor all the communities of color by recognizing the continued legacies of structural violence and systemic racism, and ask us all to recognize our place in the fight for restorative and reparative justice. Thank you. Class of 2022, as I begin my address to you today, I reflect deeply about our historical place in Colgate's legacy. It feels like to me that our college experience has been divided into two chapters, split between our underclassmen and upperclassmen experiences in ways that no other class here has undergone. Our underclassmen experiences here at Colgate can be regarded almost with naive nostalgia as we remember exploring Colgate's campus, excited to begin our journey here. However, just as we began to come into ourselves as Colgate students, our second chapter, our upperclassmen experiences, were engulfed in tragedy as the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the world and our nation opened its eyes to the ever-present systemic inequalities and injustices. In our unique positioning in this timeline of events, we are the only class that seems to have enough time to get to know the Colgate community before the height of the pandemic, as well as enough time to have the opportunity to rebuild it after. My personal experiences with these timelines of events were not easy. The divide in my chapters came after the end of our upperclassmen experience, when we were suddenly sent home due to the start of the worldwide pandemic, COVID-19. I returned home to what felt like a battleground between COVID and my community in Elmhurst, Queens, New York City. Living through the summer of 2020 in the epicenter of the pandemic had confirmed before my eyes all that I had learned in my courses about stratified health care access and systemic inequalities as I watched my community lose their lives. I felt powerless to protect them, to protect my family, and to protect myself. It was in my most challenging moment that my Colgate education served me the most. It was the values and foundations set by faculty, staff, and my peers during my time getting to know Colgate that made me realize how I would get through this. It was my ed studies, women's studies, sociology, and core curriculum courses that allowed me to confirm that everything that was happening to my community and other communities of color was not an accident, but a result of systemic racism and inequity. It was through B. Frank and Dre's leadership of the first OUS community that I learned how radical love and community building could heal and energize the soul most wounded by these inequities. It was through my first-gen family on campus that I learned how to allow myself to exist loudly, to take up space, and to hold each other close. It was through my IGD and Alana trainings that I learned how to communicate across difference and teach others how to hold space for one another in the fight against systems of hate and oppression. All of these invaluable lessons led me to realize that the only way I would get through this was by coming together and organizing for our community. I started asking myself these questions. What can I do? Where can I contribute? And how can I organize? That was the start of our second chapter at Colgate. We returned with a responsibility to organize and rebuild for the sake of ourselves and our community. The formation of the Colgate Student Coalition, inspired by the Black Lives Matter foundational and revolutionary work that summer, set the example for us to follow. My community and I, of students, staff, faculty, all follow this powerful example by organizing within La Casa, Alana, Lasso, Tridecum Honor Society, and more. We connected and collaborated with each other's cultural groups. We held listening spaces for each other. We helped lead our Colgate Collective through this year's period of reintegration into an in-person community again. As upperclassmen, this year's class and cultural leaders, staff, and faculty on this campus came back poised to take care of one another, to rebuild our safe spaces on campus, and to set the learned example of radical love and support for the incoming underclassmen to have with them always as they move through a new Colgate. As I finish up, I'd like to thank my people. To my first gen and La Casa family, y'all are my day ones, and I hold you in my heart forever. To my Lasso core, you are my inspiration. To my multicultural community across the class years, I deeply value your courage and your work. To my mother, thank you for your strength and your courage, without which I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything that I have today. To my father, thank you for your fight and your sacrifice to get me here and to get me through. To my brother, thank you for doing this college thing first. You're the best. Lastly, to the Colgate class of 2022, I ask that you continue to ask yourselves the very same questions I did myself when you leave here and move into your communities. What can I do? Where can I contribute? How can I organize? Use our unique place in Colgate's legacy to take your lessons learned on how to heal through organizing and community with you wherever you go. Because the pandemic isn't over, and systems of violence and oppression have yet to be dismantled. We all have a responsibility to ask ourselves where we stand in the fight against them. Thank you again, and congratulations to the class of 2022.
I'll open as normal as anyone would say. Hi, everyone. I'm just kidding. To my beloved friends, class of 2022. My name is Alex Tran, and it's my absolute honor and privilege to be here speaking to you today as an 1819 award recipient, along with an amazing friend and leader, Hilary Almanza. Please give her a clap because the speech is so good. And I want to ask you to clap once more for yourself, because you made it. Because my speech is going to be heavy, and I want you to prepare for it. I'll go light, don't worry. 4 years ago, I traveled over 8,000 miles to go from my hometown, Hanoi, Vietnam, to risk everything to go to Colgate University, Hamilton, New York. Shout out to all the international students out there. Wow, oh my God. If I know what was in store for me, I would have packed my bags and run immediately. Here's an example. During my first year, I fell off my bunk bed in a small triple in East Hall, hit my head on the table, and bled in my roommate Chase's pants on the floor. His pants is still bleeding. It was 3 a.m. when a lot of my peers were coming back from you-know-where downtown. Relatable, right? What was to come shaped how I experienced community for the next years to come. Ben, my other roommate, rushed to Frank to get me a pack of ice as Chase called an ambulance to take me to the ER, which eventually cost $1,000. Healthcare, am I right? But for the first time in the 18 years of my life, I've never felt more loved. Outside of the warmth and love of my parents, I feel lucky. Over the next years, we, the Colgate community, have spent our time falling off that bunk bed, only this time figuratively. We plunged into the extreme uncertainty of COVID-19, of political conflicts, forest fires, racial hate crimes, and of mass human rights violations on women's bodies. We fell, and there seemed to be no end to this bottomless pit. Life goes on, sure, we're still here, right? But are we still whole after this, I ask you? Do we, as a society, even look back to the places and times we have tripped and been pushed down? Where are we now? There were times at night where I would go to bed crying, wondering why I'm here in college. And there were times I would walk outside in the academic quad, but inside I'm not okay. And maybe in all of us, that's who we are. And I hope you can relate to that. But the thing is that, in some sense, who would have guessed that under our smile, our towering GPA, our awards, a lot of courts and stoles that wear my neck down right now, it's the loss of our loved ones, a heartbreak, or just constant anxiety and stress and depression from an institution where sometimes our self-worth is conflated with our productivity. However, this is a time of joy and tinged with sadness too, because the world we're living in is imperfect. I want you to marvel in what you have done over the last 4 years, 4 hard years, because it says something about you, about us, the Colgate community, our humanity. Let's face it, we didn't get here alone. Had it not been for the help of our loved ones, our families, our friends, our faculty, staff, and administration working tirelessly to help us get here, would we even be here in the first place? So, I want to spend this moment asking you kindly to turn to the people closest to you, who have supported you, who have gotten you here, who have believed in you, and please give them the biggest hug. Please. Yeah, I'm just gonna hug myself up here. It's fine. I know I'm loved. Get out your phone and text someone who you love, saying you miss them. Thank you for them. You don't see this, you don't hear this a lot, right? Because like, who takes out their phone when I'm speaking? That's kind of disrespectful. But take out your phone and send a thank you note to someone. Maybe after this, I don't know. For me, my community, starting from the East second floor, and my family, my mother and father who have traveled 8,000 miles also to get here to see me today, has expanded into my beloved friends, Alana, OSSS, all the cultural groups, the Tratekim Senior Honor Society, Vietnamese Society, the Psychology and Education Department, and last but not least, Sipsam Dance Group. They got me through, and I've not passed a chance to hug them any day. And I'm really, really grateful to everyone. My dear class of 2022, to me, the biggest takeaway that I got from Colgate is that perfection is an endless hedonic treadmill. You spend your entire life chasing ideal, burning yourself out, beating yourself up, and then for what? How long is this diploma, and let's be real, it's a piece of paper, going to keep you happy? I love the ceremonial stuff, sorry President Casey. But don't get me wrong, I love papers too, as much as I love the plants that were cut down to make them. But I encourage you to think about what the diploma represents. My point is, imperfection is what makes us humans. With all my heart, I encourage you to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly within you. Because to deny that you don't have the bad and the ugly is to lie to yourself in the most blatant sense. I'm imperfect. Probably some haters out there, haters gonna hate, what else? But have you ever woken up one day wanting to change the world, and then the next day waking up just wanting to burn it all down? That's real, at least to me. I don't know about you. Oh, I won't burn down. They're all parts of you, the beautiful you that I've had the privilege of knowing. Bring that amazing self to the world out there and make that world a better place the way you know how. Take this imperfect Colgate community that you have with you and make the world more perfect day by day. I don't have the solution to all the things I listed earlier. The political conflicts, the killings, the people who are dying to COVID-19, to political hate. I don't have the answer to them. But I know I have the ingredient to start dreaming about a better future, and that is our common and imperfect humanity. Thank you.
The crowded room. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. These two Hebrew words, Shabbat Shalom, meaning a peaceful Sabbath, are the traditional Jewish greeting for Friday nights and Saturdays. They embrace two important biblical ideas. One, rest is intrinsic to and essential for creativity. And two, cessation from work is a prerogative of free people. You seniors have just completed 4 years of work, of papers, exams, projects, classroom participation, athletic events, and extracurricular activities that engage your creative efforts, and you are, for the moment at least, freed from academic responsibilities. Tomorrow, you will attend a ceremony which is called commencement, to mark your leaving Colgate to commence the next phase of your lives. But today at this baccalaureate, we are assembled to pause and to reflect on your 4 years here. I invite you to rest in this moment, to not think about tomorrow's or even the rest of today's activities, to think about what you've been and where you are, rather than on where you might be going. If your experience was anything like mine at a similar time of life, you arrived here to begin your college experience without entirely knowing what you were getting into. From home lives directed by parents and high schools with largely prescribed curricula, you came to Colgate. Here you were asked to create and direct your own schedules and to individualize your educations, choosing majors and minors, selecting courses, and involving yourselves in the myriad of athletic and other activities that enrich life at Colgate. You did all this and more, changing and growing in the process, so that now you stand at the border of adulthood, proud members of the community of the educated. As a rabbi and as your university chaplain, I can tell you unequivocally that for everyone who has come through this process, the transformations that result are miraculous. We generally refer to something as a miracle when it excites our amazement, even as it contains elements that we don't entirely understand. Here at Colgate, we encapsulate that amazement in our motto, Deo ac Veritati, for God and truth. Students come here, we hope, in search of truths about the world and themselves, which require 4 years of continual exertion to absorb and begin to understand. God symbolizes the strength of purpose this exertion requires and the inspiration that propels us forward and that has brought you to emotional and intellectual places that equip you for life in ways that you might have only dimly imagined when you began this journey 4 years ago. In a few moments, this baccalaureate service will end, and you will leave here for wonderful activities preceding your commencement tomorrow morning. I thank you for the time you have spent here, enriching Colgate as you learned and grew, and I wish you well as you leave here for what lies ahead. My colleagues in the chaplain's office join me in the fervent hope and prayer that you live and love well, taking what Colgate has given you and using it to better yourselves, the people around you, and worlds beyond. Now, as the singers come up for the alma mater, I think the singers are coming up for the alma mater, they're nodding, that's good. We'll ask everybody else to please stand and remain standing for the benediction, which will follow immediately when they finish.
Ever
by way of benediction, I offer you these words from Deuteronomy, 4 verses. You'll note some agricultural references in them. They may seem particularly appropriate as you leave Colgate. Because it's written in Hebrew originally, that's how I'll read it first and then in English. Baruch atah ba'ir u'baruch atah ba'sadeh, Baruch pri bitnecha ufri admatcha ufri vemtecha shkar alafech vashtarot sonecha, Baruch tanacha mishartecha, Baruch atah b'voecha, u'baruch atah b'tzeitecha. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the country. Blessed shall be your issue from the womb, your produce from the soil, and the offspring of your cattle, the calving of your herd and the lambing of your flock. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be in your comings, and blessed shall you be in your goings. Amen.